Hello everyone. Recently I've been playing a good bit of Merge Tactics, and here's my quick guide about the season. All this is just my opinion and should be taken as ramblings of a madman and does not take into account all the different rulers, as the main ideas stand regardless of what ruler you take. You may have to change a few things around, but core ideas still stand. TLDR for the whole video, try to activate as many trait abilities, trait buffs as possible at most times. And I think the optimal placement is 2 up front, 2 middle, 2 back, 2 2 2, and using goblins. Focus on balancing your teams by gaining trait buffs. Try to get the 2 goblins early so you can get the extra elixir early, because it builds up over the course of the game, especially if you can merge. And the longer explanation is going to be divided up into 3 parts: professions, families, and individual units. All traits can be arranged into one of 2 categories roughly. The wiki classes like these into trait 1 and trait 2, but the way I like to look at it is families and professions, and I will be referring to it as such. Professions are the skills like assassin, ranger, superstar, and families are like goblin, noble, clan. In my opinion, professions are more important than families, as they determine the placement of your troops and what they're capable of. Brawlers and brutalists go into the front, blasters and rangers go into the back, and assassins go wherever. Usually this is the middle because it helps overview everything, but that's a personal thing. It doesn't really matter much where it goes, but since you want to have your frontline troops in the front and your backline troops at the back, that leaves the middle slot open, so you can easier arrange in which lane which assassin is. And currently, superstars are divided in half. Half of them are frontline fighters, and half of them are backline fighters. Assassins and superstars are unique in their roles, as they add flexibility and challenge. Most profession traits are a bonus for correct placement, selection, blah blah blah, but assassin and superstar enable those units to perform their tasks. Usually these units perform suboptimally for their cost if their trait isn't active. So ideally you want to either have their trait active turn 1 or have both of them put into the field to activate each other. And what I mean by this is stuff like the Knifey Goblin or Golden Knight, they're fine a bit overcosted for just running up and fighting. They're not bulky enough to be frontline troops. They deal a good bit of damage, but they have a good trouble moving up. But once their assassin trait is activated, they're pretty good at their role. They move up in the back and start doing damage in a glass cannon variation. In terms of placement, I usually go 2-2-2. 2 brutalists or superstars up front, 2 assassins, and then 2 rangers, blasters in the back, possibly 2 superstars depending on the state of the field, what they get. But sometimes, depending on the selection, I go 3-1 or 1-3. In both cases, I have a superstar in the back and the front at the cost of the front line or the back line, depending. The biggest reason the profession traits are so important because they clash with each other. Brawler and Brutalist compete for the same placements, and since Trade Dummy currently doesn't exist, you need 4 units up front to enable both traits. That overcommits to the front line and allows things like assassins to come in from the back to pick everything off, or the Valkyrie to start dealing damage to multiple things at once. Similar but opposite problem happens with blasters and rangers. They compete for the same slot. It leaves your front line fairly weak and allows you to become overrun, and usually the backline units are fairly squishy and they can die fairly easily to things like Prince or Mega Knight or even Goblin Mech doing its rockets that can also deal damage to your backline. The 2-2 placement ideally allows you to hold off frontline with the support of the backline, dealing damage to them so it crumbles, while assassins take out their backline to either deal less damage to your frontline or to distract their backline or frontline. In either case, the assassin's work is to enable the rest of the team to do their work more efficiently. Family. It is important for you to try and line up family traits in a way that doesn't disable profession traits. For instance, you want to run Valkyrie, right? Remember to either get the wizard or the archer queen, or leave a spot for them later on so you can enable the clan trait without having to take a barbarian who competes for the frontline slot. Assassins and superstars are the best places to enable the front and backline family traits, as the traits don't fight amongst each other like Brawler and Brutalist or Blaster and Ranger do. As such, despite the buff being pretty good, one of the worst ones is the clan trait. It has 2 frontline units and 2 backline units, so it is only viable to run in a 2-2-2 formation or running a 4-0-2 or 2-0-4 formation. Since you can't enable it with 2 units in the back without leaving one trait to go to waste, same story goes for the front line. If you don't use 4 units in either lane, the optimal usage for clan units is by running 1 up front and 1 up back. This isn't to say the clan trait can't work, it is just harder to enable and can be limiting in certain formations. Actually, I think it's easier if I just go through all the families. P.E.K.K.A. Strong, but both clash for the frontline slot and force you to go 4 up front if you want to use this trait to the fullest. Clan. Trait effect is good, but the selection is limiting and can make it hard to fill out the buffs in the team. Giants. The buff is really good. It's really good. It helped with the durability of the giant units and by proxy the rest of the team. Both members are cheap at 2 and 3 elixir respectively. Neither one of these clash in their role, as one of them is a backline ranger and the other one is a frontline superstar, and currently both of them are amazing at synergizing with the rest of their team potentially if you can build around it properly. But if you go for this trait, you effectively can't use clan units. Because of how the units overlap, you can't run clan. Undead, they have some of the strongest units currently in the game, and the family trait is really good as well. But due to their usually high cost and wonky unit professions and selections, they can be hard to properly fit onto a team. Goblins have some of the most versatile units in terms of their role placement and the low elixir cost, making them very accessible. And their family trait effectively gives you between 1 and 3 elixir on your turn just for running them. This is one of the best families in the game currently, especially since some of them are really strong if you can get them up to 3 or 4 stars, and it's not that hard to do so. Noble and Ace. These two are lumped together because they fill basically the same profession slot, with only change being that one superstar is a frontline and the other superstar is a backline. They both offer some pretty strong units with the same average elixir cost and roughly the same elixir cost in general. These are purely off of preference, and they are some of the most versatile in terms of filling the abilities. With all that context, let's talk about some individual units. These are ones I currently like. Both of the giants are really strong as enablers and tanks. Due to their high HP, low cost, potential reduction of up to 40% of damage taken, they're strong to build around. They also enable stuff like Superstar and Ranger, which have also some strong units. Monk, one of the new units and really good both at taking hits but also dishing out damage, and the new superstar trait ability. The downtime for him is fairly low. The Witch, yet another great card that utilizes the power of the superstar trait. It isn't strong at 1 star, but at 3 stars or even 2 stars, it can fairly often fill the entire board with skeletons for the enemy to chew through. Dart Goblin, still a strong card, both enables good elixir economy growth with being a goblin, and if you have Ranger online, it can do some serious DPS when it builds up. Golden Knight can still put in a lot of good work if he isn't struck down before he can get going. That's kind of the limitation with this current season. There's a lot of smaller units, and if he can get overrun, that is a problem for him. Valkyrie, a strong pick in this meta with all these swarms going on as well. Musketeer, very good if you can get the superstar trait going. It can keep enemies stunned, prevent effects like Witch's infinite swarm of skeletons or the monk's reflection, and overall a good suppressive unit. And that's about it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I wish you good luck in your games.